Yo, kick it! Kick it!
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of American Soccer Quick Kicks. I'm your host, David Wright. Do me a favor, if you haven't done it already, please hit subscribe. We have a busy week of secondary competitions going on this week, starting tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed the U.S. match last week. It was something called the Continental Classico. That's brand new. That was the first version of that game. It's going to be every year, apparently, at this same time, in which the United States will host a friendly against some country from the Americas. So that could be either CONCACAF or CONMEBOL, right? Either North, Central, or South America. They started it off with Mexico. It was, just a friendly, and it was outside of a window, and so it was almost all MLS. A little bit weird. Serginho Dest was like the one European-based player who was there. And to be honest, the match was kind of a snoozer for long stretches, and it looked like that the United States was content to just play out to a loss because they were trailing 1-0 for a long time. Dest was a part of a fantastic goal. I don't know if you saw it. You should look up the highlight. He beat 2 or 3 guys on a dribble and was able to get the play started up the field that ended in a goal for Jesus Ferreira. It was a fantastic goal. And so in the end, I believe it was a fair result of 1-1. A lot of people are kind of cynical about games like this. A lot of people don't understand why, we have these players playing for the United States when they aren't our best players. And I'm just not in that crowd, because I understand that you're not going to have your very best players available for every single match. And besides, you don't want to, right? You need to develop depth. You need to give other players opportunities to play, and to do it in a friendly like this that doesn't really have much at stake is the perfect opportunity. So you don't need to bring in Christian Pulisic and Gio Reyna and Weston McKennie and Brendan Aronson for every single match. You need chances to bring in your domestic pros, right? The guys who play for MLS, and to run them out there and to give them minutes on the field. And I think that's good. And besides, as a fan of the league, I enjoy seeing them play. It's like an all-star team playing in a match that matters. Theoretically, it's not just an all-star game, is what I mean. It is, though, just a friendly, and so there's nothing at stake. It was just an opportunity to watch the United States national team play. And why would I turn that down? And since I follow the league, I'm very familiar with all these players, and so it was fun. I'm glad that it happened. It's kind of this weird thing that doesn't mean much, but that's okay. With the quirk of the schedule, though, our very next opponent for the U.S. team is also going to be Mexico. We're going to end up playing them 2 times in a row, because coming up next, starting June 15th, I think it is, we have the Nations League semifinals, and then immediately followed by the final. It's all going to happen in the month of June, and our semifinal match is against Mexico. Now, that's going to be a very, very different game than the one that was just played last week, because we are bringing in our top guys. This is going to be our World Cup team. These are going to be our European pros. These are going to be our biggest names. And presumably Mexico is going to be doing the exact same thing. It's a little bit odd, because Nations League is something that every CONCACAF nation plays in, and it is a method for some countries to qualify for the Gold Cup. So where everybody plays in Nations League, the Gold Cup you have to qualify for, and Gold Cup is the CONCACAF championship. So Gold Cup is, in theory, or is the most important trophy, is the more important competition between the two. But the way it works out, it happened in 2021, and it's going to happen again this year, is we're going to have our biggest guys, the European-based pros, our World Cup guys, playing in Nations League, and then they're going to leave. They're going to enjoy their summer vacation, because the European leagues don't play in the summertime. Their season is from the fall to the spring. And so they have an opportunity to rest their bodies, and they're going to have the summer off. And Nations League is going to go straight into Gold Cup, like the very next week, like less than 7 days after the Nations League final, the Gold Cup begins. And we are going to have a team that looks more like the one that just played last week. This is going to be more of a domestic squad. This is what happened in 2021. We still managed to win the Gold Cup, and so we're going to see that again. we're going to see our big names play in June for Nations League, and then we're going to bring in our domestic guys for June, July for the Gold Cup. So that's going to be a very busy stretch for U.S. soccer fans. It's going to be about a solid month of competitions that are meaningful. So looking forward to that. It's going to be in the very next FIFA window. Now, coming up this week, we have coming up starting tomorrow night, we have both Open Cup third round and CONCACAF Champions League semifinals. All this stuff is going to go on at once. You're going to have a full schedule of the 18 MLS teams are joining the competition, and we're going to have matches taking place all over the country. If you want to see any of these games, they're not all going to be available to watch. Some of them are. I'm going to provide a link in this description of where you can go on US Soccer's website to see what games are being covered, and they'll have links there where you can go to watch them. Some of these are going to be put on by US Soccer with their partner Bleacher Report. Others are going to be a team cast that, since US Soccer and Bleacher Report declined to cover that game, the teams have an option to cover it themselves, and on a couple of occasions that's going to be happening. We talked about that. Jake Sillick and I talked about that in the interview I did a week or two ago. Go back and look at that. It's a fantastic conversation all about the Open Cup. But I'm going to give you the link that will take you to the page that shows you what games you can catch. Those games are all being played tomorrow and Wednesday, Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. And in the middle of all that, you've got the Champions League semifinals happening on the exact same days. So we have Tigres and Leon in one bracket playing on Tuesday. And then Wednesday night, we're going to have Philadelphia and Los Angeles. And that is the game you want to see. This game's going to be on FS1. It's going to be, this is that Titanic matchup of the two best teams in the league last year. And this is a revenge showdown for Philadelphia, an opportunity to get one back from LA. So this is the game to watch. Philadelphia, LAFC, Wednesday night, FS1. It's going to be leg one of the Champions League semifinals, and they'll come back for the leg two next week. So this is an exciting time. You know, if you're an Open Cup fan, you've got a feast. You're overloaded. But Champions League is what it's all about this week. I want to see what happens. I'm pulling for Philadelphia. I don't know about you. Anyway, that's going to do it for me this time. Be sure to watch some soccer with me, and I'll talk to you next time.